In this segment of I Take Your Point, we're breaking down alpha males through the lens of culture, how history, family, and the images we grow up with shape what we think strength and masculinity should look like. It's not always simple, it's not always healthy, but it is worth talking about. Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and then stick around to hear John's perspective.
So there's this thing that I say that you do take offense to quite often when I say it. It's alpha male. And let's talk about alpha males, and let's talk about the good parts of alpha males and what that means with respect to politics, culture, and entertainment. So let's start with the cultural aspect in terms of alpha male and how I define it. I define an alpha male as someone who is self-confident, understanding of what his role is with respect to various aspects of relationships. Someone who sets about a task and goes about accomplishing it. Someone who believes that men, and this is going to make me come off as a chauvinist, but that there are traditional roles that men should play, meaning protector and provider of his family. I've always seen an alpha male as the voice in the house that sets the tone for what happens in the household. There can be other definitions of alpha males. There could be other interpretations. And then we can talk about the toxic aspect of what that means. It's been my experience that alpha males traditionally are going to go about handling things the way that I just described. What say you about that?
Okay, so I do have issues with that. I'm going to put a caveat out in just a moment, but first I want to say this. I think that any definition of alpha male that labels someone as toxic, and I'll get into that explanation in just a moment. But I will say this. So as I was driving home last evening, you sent me information on our potential topic for today. And so I spent some time reflecting. Initially, I was like up in arms over this. Alpha male, you know how I feel about that. I don't like the term. Then I started thinking about it and I was like, I think I might be part of the problem. That I wish that I was so evolved and I was like, yes, I'm embracing everything. I am not. And I don't know if it's because of culture, society, what I've been exposed to, what the tone that was set in my growing up house. I don't know, but I do believe that I'm part of the problem. As much as I'd love to reject this definition of alpha male, there is a unfortunate attraction to this definition of an alpha male. And the challenge that I have with it is that you're exposed to this. I kind of like a little bit of assholery, but the problem is going too far. Like you can't be too much of an asshole. Little bit good. And I do like stronger men that are more opinion because I'm opinionated. And so I need someone that would be able to challenge me and also help set boundaries because I can be a leaf in a windstorm. I can also say that growing up, I was small, just a small stature of a person. And so I was always attracted to physically bigger men and their personalities bigger. But the challenge that I come with is that you go too far with your assholery and then there's going to be fisticuffs.
Yeah, I think that an alpha male can be assertive and dominant without being an asshole.
But I don't know how you know that, but okay. I guess you've read about it. I'm just trying to understand, where'd you get this information?
You're trying to say that I'm an asshole?
I'm not saying anything.
So I think that when we think about traditionally what an alpha male is, and we think about how it is specifically with Black men, how that is perceived, I think we have to start with the opinion of how it is that America and sometimes the world sees Black men as these strong, virile creatures who are in some ways bucks. You think about slavery and how it is that Black men were utilized for their sexual prowess. It's Sunday when we're recording this, and how it is you see football players, and the NFL is the most popular sport in the United States for a reason, because you have these huge men who are trying to move men against their will. It's the only sport that you have man against man and one man trying to move a man against his will. You think about alpha males traditionally in the United States and traditionally in the culture. It starts with slavery. It is then reinforced in the culture from the standpoint that if you were a little effeminate growing up, you may have been called a sissy. You may have been told not to cry. You may have been told that real men do this. Real men don't cook. Real men go outside and do X, Y, and Z. Real men have a whole harem of women that they're trying to, or whatever. All of those things were reinforced within the Black culture, some bad, some good. And so what some of us have defined as alpha males can have some of those negative connotations. And it can be that we aren't, quote unquote, in touch with our feelings, even though I'm an evolved individual and you know that I'm in touch.
Who just keep throwing all these pronouns? Like, I know who you're talking about. Who is this we? Me.
He's just
You.
messy. So from that standpoint, how do we take the good parts of what we define as alpha male and do away with the toxic aspects that you talked about with respect to the culture? What say you?
Love that you brought up slavery. And so there's this documentary that I revisited called Tough Guys, Guise. And it's by, I think, Jackson Katz is the one that did this. And it explores this masculinity, this masculine toxicity. Why can't I speak?
Because you're from Oklahoma. Toxicity.
Yeah, that it explores that. And it does talk about, especially in the Black community, that there was so many things taken away from Black men, their freedoms, their rights, their ability to move about the country as a person. And the thing that they did have was their masculinity. And they were celebrated for that. Like you were saying, that they were shown as strong, they were shown as whatever. Interesting thing, it's a little tiny caveat with there. Interesting thing about that is that when you think about how some of the slaves were brought over, let's just say your great state of South Carolina, they were really brought over because they knew how to grow rice, because the land was similar to where they were at. So the rich soil, they were brought over for their intellect. They were brought over for that. I thought that was fascinating to me. But
So you're fascinated yet again by the wonderful things that come out of the state of South Carolina, is what I'm hearing.
Fascinated is a strong word. Super, super strong. I know you like strength, a little strong. I'm just saying that initially some slaves were brought over because of their intellect and the things that they were able to provide to their slave owners or whatever into this world. But when you take everything away and you don't allow Black people to explore their intellect, you don't celebrate them for their intellect, you take that away from them and then claim it as your own, the only thing that you've left them with is you're so strong and you can really do physical stuff with master's wife.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying that that's the only thing you have. That becomes your identity. And then when you think about other cultures, that is appealing to them. And they think that the Black man, not understanding the journey that got them to where they're at, that represents masculinity. And so the fighting, the fight clubs, the violence, the whole thing that comes out of that, the way that you treat women, the way that you are just really working through this world and not allowing the emotions, not allowing any of that to play a part of it. People look to Black men like, oh my God, they're so strong. They're so what? I told you, like my son, I struggle with this because I want him to have his own journey, but I fear that I introduce my own biases into his journey because I grew up with a Marine father, and the men in the Marine Corps back in the days when they can treat them poorly, they were just silent, strong men. And that's what I saw all my life. And so I want my son to have his own journey, but I fear that I've also introduced like these biases, like, oh, you've got, stop crying. I don't say that, but stuff like that. Like, okay, I don't like whiners. I will say that. Stop whining. If you don't have a solution, stop whining. I will say stuff like that. And that could be potentially damaging when I'm shutting someone down. We talked about this with David Justice when you were like, well, when can we as Black men show our vulnerability? Well, you don't, because all you want to do is show the strength part. I don't want to cry. I don't want to be vulnerable. All I want to do is treat women poorly. I want to show strength. And it's so interesting. It just seems to be a lot of it's directed at females. Like there's this war against women. There's this war against quote unquote feminism because you have your own inadequacies, your own vulnerabilities that you're unable to express outside of being a physical person.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot to unpack there.
Because there was a lot.
When I think about alpha male, for me, the core is to protect, provide, and to lead. That is the core definition that I would have.
And John, I just want to say this. I want to ask you a question.
So you just spent 10 minutes going on a soliloquy, and then when
it's a dialogue. I just want to dialogue with you. I want to ask you a question. If someone's definition if it's different than that, I am going to call you out because I've heard you call people soft. And when that just grates on my nerves, because why do they have to be soft? And what is why are they soft? And what happens if we do have a world, riddle me this, what happens in this fantasy of ours if we do have men that are, it's 60, 70% quote unquote soft. What happens?
You have a world that's led by women with effeminate men.
Okay, so then what happens? What's the problem? Help me.
Then you have, in my opinion, you have men who are beta males who take a supportive role and aren't able to either lead or be respected in their household or outside of their household.
Okay, so this is the same argument. Thank you for doing this. I love putting you in a corner like baby. This is what I want to say, that there seems to be this fear from the majority, let's just say white people, that when brown or black people get in power, we're going to do to them the same that they did to us. What I heard from you is that if a woman is leading, she's going to treat that man the same way that collective men have treated women.
Ask you this question. If you're in a household and you are the primary provider in terms of your household, meaning financially, you are the person who sets the tone for your household, meaning what it is and how it is that your household may be navigating the day-to-day existence, okay? And you have a male part. Are you going to view that person the same way as you would view someone who was an alpha male who did make more or as much as you financially?
And so that's a
And who at the tone for what it is that you were going to do with respect to your household, meaning if you were going to be if you're a family that believed in religion and you went to church, it was typically the father that established, we're going to go to church as a family.
So I'm saying, and that's what I said on the onset, that I think I'm part of the problem. The way I grew up, the images that I saw, the things that I saw, I tend to gravitate towards men that will allow me to have some agency, but will also be like, okay, now you need to stop. Because that's just how I grew up. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a wrong or a right thing. Because in someone else's household, as long as they're eating, as long as they're communicating, as long as there's love, as long as there's support, who am I to tell them that that man needs to be alpha? Who am I to say, as long as your needs are being met, that's a personal thing for me. And I think that a lot of it is because of the way I grew up.
Do you think that there's a through line between the lack of alpha males in the household and where we are as a society right now?
I think that, no. Two things. Let me say this. I think that the alpha men in the household continue this cycle of alpha men telling boys, don't cry. You don't need to cry. If you have a problem, go punch them in the face. Go do these things. And so it continues on in the cycle. They hear it. It's reinforced from their friends. It's reinforced from coaches. It's reinforced from video games.
I can push back on that and say that you can have a refined alpha male who believes, yes, you can be physically strong and you can be mentally strong at the same time. You can have the vulnerability to be able to show your emotions and to be able to express them. I don't think it has to be either or.
I don't think it has to be either or, but I think that the images that are projected and the culture that we live in lends itself to being either or. And so we don't have that nuance. That's the problem. So I'll just, for example, in my household, dad growing up, my mom, let me just say this, that I was very familiar with the switch in her personalized belt because I had a mouth. My dad, I think he spanked us one time. My mom, all she taught me to do was to learn how to cry so that she would leave me alone. And so I'm like, that's sad, it hurts. My dad could look at us and say, girls, and we would be reduced to tears because he had this quiet strength about him. He just moved with strength. He moved with confidence, but he didn't use profanity. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't do anything physical to my mother or to us, but there was this thing about him that we were like, yeah, we're not messing with that one. And I saw that throughout, that there was just this strong, silent reserve. And so I grew up to think that was what a man that I wanted in my life to be, that I can go off and do whatever, and then I come home and I know I'm protected, I'm safe, I'm all of these things.
We're not doing the same thing?
Well, I am, but I'm saying that I think that what's happened is that, I don't know, that was just my experience, but I'm saying that I think that because culture values the violence, values this uber toxic male, whatever experience, that a lot of kids feel like they have to go hard. And so then I'm going to go back to what you said about having a man in the house. I know this is going to be horrible for ladies. I'm sorry. But I do believe that there is a benefit from a strong male in the house, not a physically abusive, not a toxic, or somebody just sitting on the couch, but someone that's engaged, someone that is a partner to the mother, and they together set the tone of the house. I'm not saying that the husband has to do everything, but I think that together they're a unit. And so, like, again, in our house, there was no going to mom, to dad, because whatever was going on with them, they were a unit. And so they spoke for each other.
Yeah, I can make some good points. You made a lot of good points. You talked.
Oh my God. Okay, let's end the podcast right now. Thank you. Bye. So do
No,
something nice for yourself and do something nice for everybody else.
No, I think that when you think about alpha males, I think we have to understand the good parts and we have to take out what is considered the bad parts. And you make some very good points, and I take your point about being able to have those conversations, especially with the young boys as they're growing up, to say, okay, this is how you communicate, or this is how you have conversations with not only someone of an opposite sex or someone who you're sharing a household with, but you need to model that for those who are looking at you to say, okay, this is how we address issues that we may not be in agreement on. Now, the other thing about the alpha male aspect is we'd be dumb, I think, if we did not see the throughput between being an alpha male and how it is that men can use that to hold women back. Meaning, whether it's the gender pay gap, whether it's individuals saying, do what I say in my household, and being, abusive, or, you'll have a guy as you are traveling down the street. And I know you get this all the time because you walk around in booty shorts, as I understand it. And so you'll get guys that will.
That is literally called exercise clothes, John.
Will get guys that will do catcalls, and so it's sexually harassed. And I think there's the toxic aspect of the alpha males that we see, especially online.
The alpha male, that is a term that we've heard bantied about many times over the last couple of years. I've used it myself. I've defined myself as that in some situations, and I've looked at others as alpha male as well. But what is an alpha male? An alpha male can be a prison. For far too long, it has been done to hold Black men in a precarious situation. We've used it as its self-defense mechanism. We've used it to normalize improper behavior. It promises a throne that delivers that solitary confinement of emotional isolation. But we hold the key to our freedom. That key is conversation, the courage to have honest dialogue in our homes, with our friends, and in our communities. And this starts with normalizing emotional openness. It starts with the fathers, the mentors, the coaches becoming mental health advocates for these young men who may come to them with issues. Let them know that it's okay to talk. It starts with us. It starts with you. Check on your boys. Ask them how they're really doing, and then listen without judgment. Let's create spaces where they know it's safe to talk. They can take off that armor and they can be real. If you're struggling and you need some help, talk to someone. It's not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate act of strength. It is an act of self-love, and you are not alone in this fight. So let's build a new definition of what man for male looks like. One that doesn't crush us. One that finally allows us to stand tall and be men that we need to be for our communities. As always, thank you guys for taking the time to spend with us. And while you're out and about this week, take some time to do something nice for yourself. And while you're at it, take the time to do something nice for someone else. Until next time, we'll talk to you.
Thanks for tuning in to another lively conversation on I Take Your Point. This podcast is a production of the SME LLC Media Group. All rights reserved. If you are enjoying the show, hit the subscribe button in the top right corner. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and check out past episodes. Until next time, take care and be well.